Hello, everybody. How are we doing tonight? I'm Whelp Cakes, and welcome to Season 2 of the Sports Car Series brought to you by Track Limits Racing. We're back. It's been a minute since we last saw one another, and we're back. We've got more rounds in store, more multi-class racing, and we're kicking it off. We kicked it off last time. WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. So yeah, we've got 90 minutes on offer here in the season opener. Got cars on track already, finishing out their free practice laps, getting set up for quali, which will be starting shortly. As you can see from the weather, 20 degrees, and we've got 54% chance of precipitation, partly cloudy skies with 15 kilometers wind currently. As we get ready to start off another season here at Track Limits, just want to highlight a couple of changes since we last saw one another. We do have some new things happening here in the Sports Car Series. We've got three main points we want to talk about. We've got the new Pro and AM Championship. So the gold, silver, bronze scoring points system is gone in favor of Pro and AM championships in each class. So both LMP3 and GT4 will have separate Pro and AM championship contention on offer. We do have a change to the competition yellow system as well. We're going to go to single competition yellow flags per race. For this 90-minute race, we're going to fire that off at around the 20-minute mark. And then for our 2-hour races, we'll be triggering competition yellows at the 45-minute mark. Also some fuel adjustments, a little difference, a little technical detail from last season. We've decreased the fuel reserves for LMP3 and GT4 respectively. 60% fuel for LMP3 and 50% for GT4. So that should make fueling strategy a bit more of a thing this season. We're going to see how that pans out. But yeah, really excited to be back in the booth. Really excited to be back at Laguna and on Twitch with you all. Stream Season 2 of the Sports Car Series. We've got a lot to talk about. So many things to cover before we get into quali, which should be triggering here in a moment. But let's get an audio check in chat if people will let me know that they can hear me okay. Probably should have done that sooner. But let's get the racing info pulled up for the individual classes and get set up on maybe a couple of TV shots. As we got folks driving around the track right now, turn the audio down just a pinch. But yeah, so much to talk about. We've got Ethan Hamlin at the top of the LMP3 category. Ethan was a force to be reckoned with in LMP3 last season. Very dominant showing from Ethan, and he's gonna come back and try and hold on to his crown, but he's got some tough contention on track. We've got Robert Lewis, Mr. 949 himself, Beltan, currently 3/10 back from Ethan. Mark Hansen, who I believe is a newcomer. Maybe a lower bid on the game audio. Thank you so much. Thank you for telling me that. But, yeah, lots of new faces. Mark Hansen in here, Zachary Fisher, Mark Robeson joining us from the New World Sim Racing family, as well as Paul Miles, I see, on track as well. Speaking of Milo, my co-commentator for Sunday nights with New World Sim Racing, the GT Sprint Series, will be on tomorrow, I think. I need to go check the calendar. We were off for the Labor Day weekend, but I believe we're going to be back at it this Sunday for the next round. Milo, it's going great. I'm happy to be back in the booth with the Track Limits boys and doing the Sports Car Series stuff, and I'm glad to see you on track, sir. So good luck to you in your races. Let's talk GT4 stuff from last season. Mark Coyne, the working man of Track Limits Racing, winning the GT4 category by grit and determination is what I would say is kind of a key defining factor with Mark Coyne. He is a never give up kind of person, and going to be very interested to see what he can pull off in this season as well. So yeah, we've got the last remaining minute ticking away here in free practice before we go into our qualifying format. It will be standalone qualify for all of the runners out there, so I'll be switching back and forth through the quali data as we're watching it live, trying to make sure that we get those nice exciting moments when people are one-upping one another by a few tenths here and there, so that'll be exciting. Davis Stanley decides he's going to take it to the wall on the exit of turn 3. So, yeah, nice, beautiful scenic shots here of WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. And quali is about to get going, so let's get the quali mode switched on. We're not displaying our out laps, and we will see how this goes. Since it's all the drivers are going to be qualifying at the same time, we're going to be getting a combination. Oh, Wookie, I forgot to tell you I was going live, but thank you for jumping in chat and saying hello. Davis Stanley, the Florida native, in the 72 is going to go out on track in the LMP3 category. And we've got others loading up and getting ready to head out as well. Let's check in with some of the other drivers. We were following Davis there for a moment. We've got Christopher Ottman in the LMP3 on track in the 13. Getting a little loose on the exit of turn 3. It's going to be very interesting. Laguna, this many cars, attrition is always a thing at Laguna. So we're going to see how these guys get around when we get to race time. But right now it's all about raw pace and track knowledge. So we're going to see what it looks like for Christopher as he takes his outlap around Laguna. Newcomer to the LMP3 series, our AMG friend, Mr. Gabe Chavez, in the 88. He's going to put together an LMP3 showing this season. I'm excited to see how that works out for him. Let's go take a look and see who is about to finish a lap. I'm going to go based on distance. Looks like Jared Jones in the AMG is pretty close. Do we have anybody? Oh, no, Christopher. So Christopher going into turn 2 right now, the Andretti hairpin. He's getting set up for his first qualifying lap, and we've got another couple. That is not Matt Pyle, famous V8 supercar racer, but newcomer Matt Pyle. Interested to see how he gets on in the AMG around here in the GT4 category. So Christopher getting ready to go into turn 5. Taking the inside early and then pushing out wide as he heads up the hill towards the kink. This turn's all about confidence. You got to know the car. You got to know the limits of what you're doing when you're pushing through the kink, because it is a corner that has punished many a driver, and into the infamous corkscrew chicane through the left-hand section, downhill into the right. Little bit of a twitch from the rear end for Christopher as he goes into turn 9, downhill double left-hander, and the rear end goes loose, and that is going to be it for that qualifying lap. He's going to have to come back around and try and set the tone again. Just checking in real quick. Where is Mr. Hamlet? Because it looks like he's about to bullet to the top. Where is Mr. Hamlet at? There he is. Mr. Ethan Hamlet. Gian Cardoso right now on top with a 19.87. Looks like he's getting some small invalidations from Ethan. Not really used to seeing that from Mr. Ethan Hamlet. And there's the 46. Yep, so headed up. Oh, Jaden Ledbetter sets the tone with a 19.35. Let's check in with some of our GT4 contenders here. We do have Dean Tyler getting loose on corner exit, so we're going to switch over to Tommy Kogan who managed to sneak out second place over Stephen Wallace in the series finale. That was a bit of a banger, and Stephen Wallace back with us after a tragic Watkins Glen outing, and hoping that Stephen's going to have a luckier outing here at Laguna, because he's got pace in the AMG. I'm really interested to see what he can do. Right now, Scott Fleming on top with that 28.131. We'll check back in. Chris Turner right now headed uphill towards the kink, currently on pole, provisional pole with an 18.60. I think the sandbags have been left in the pits for this run from Chris Turner, as he's in the 9.50. Getting geared up for another lap to finish, and Jaden actually one-ups him with an 18.48. Dylan Sauer with an 18.64 in third. Let's see what Chris gets when he comes across the line. Looks like provisional pole with an 18.34, so it is game on in LMP3. Scott Fleming coming to the line right now, currently holding on to provisional pole in GT4, comes across the line. Let's see what he sets. 28.07. That is impressive. That's going to definitely going to make a statement there. Jared Jones switched over from the McLaren to the AMG for season 2. He's getting ready to go into turn 10 right now. Not sure if he's going to have enough to leapfrog Eduardo Zamora, newcomer in the 228. Corner exit, still kind of pretty much sitting there in the Delta. Let's see what he gets. Oh, leapfrogs Eduardo and Anthony Newman to go into 7th in GT4. Jared Jones, excellent showing. Ethan Hamlet, the man, punches into a mid-17. That's wild. Robert Lewis in the 949 LMP3 goes 4th fastest, and it looks like we might have most, if not all, of quali completed. I'm looking right now to see if I've got anybody else on track. There we go. We do have one more person right now. Benjamin Nielsen currently sitting 3rd going into turn 2. Laguna is Ethan's all reliable. You mean any track is Ethan's all reliable? So going now into turn 4. Looks like we've got another one. We got Ryan, and I've really got to learn how to pronounce Ryan's name. Chris, how are you doing, man? In the 6.4 AMG going into the final corner at the hairpin turn 11. Ryan Beauchesne? I'm just going to call you Ryan. Ryan in the 6.4. Comes across the line. Let's see what he does. Goes 6th fastest. That's good. That's good. Benjamin still got to finish his lap out. Jared Jones finishes out, jumps 4th in GT4. And we've got Tanner Schiffner locked in at 3rd right now. Can anybody upset his apple cart? So many newcomers in season 2. It would take me like half an hour to rattle off all their names and talk about kind of like what I've seen from them from watching free practice, but we'll get to know more of them during the race. But Benjamin going to come across the line. Let's see if he's got enough to leapfrog Jared Jones. It does look like no. Actually, looks like William Lewis leapfrogged Jared Jones and Benjamin Nielsen in the number 4 Porsche to take 4th position. We do have another LMP3 still out on track. We've got David Flagler and Robert Lewis currently sitting 3rd in the LMP3 standings, going through turn 9 right now in the 949 Sim Racing LMP3. Beltan is a legend in sim racing. If you know, you know. Coming down and across the line, and Beltan is going to clock in. He's got enough to leapfrog by 0.02 of a second to go provisionally P2 over Mark Hansen. And that is a banger of a lap. William Lewis in the Porsche, number 4, still got another lap to try and make it happen. Benjamin Nielsen also has a little bit, but he's currently down right now a little bit on his time. And that bump right there isn't really going to help William Lewis all that much. John Newman in the 35 also getting ready to finish out his third lap with a 1:30.71, and looks like William Lewis is going to abort that lap, and Benjamin Nielsen has his third time lap, I believe, in the books. So that should wrap up qualifying here. Let's take a look and see if we can get... No, we're going to have to wait for the session to roll before we can get the data. That's fine. We'll just keep talking. So, yeah. Qualifying is done and dusted. We're going to wait for the warm-up session to roll forward, and then we're going to swap into the results and see if we can get that information up on screen. Maybe it'll show. Maybe. SDK is pretty cantankerous about showing results sometimes. There we go. LMP3 qualifying. All right. Top of the timesheets, Mr. Ethan Hamlet with a 17.509. Sorry we did not get to see that banger of a lap put in, but Robert Lewis, 0.498 off the pace in the 949 Sim Racing LMP3. Mark Hansen in third position, followed by Jaden Ledbetter and Chris Turner, the AM driver, in fifth. We got Dylan Sauber, Gabe Chavez, Mark Robeson, Gian Cardoso, and then Zachary Fisher round out your top 10. Ethan gets the Verstappen treatment. I mean, if they're going to ban asymmetric braking on Ethan's car, I bet that would probably have an impact. Just saying. Over in GT4 category now, let's take a peek. Scott Fleming on top of the timesheets with a 28.066, followed by Stephen Wallace and then Tanner Schiffner round out your top 3. We've got, I believe that is William Lewis in the number 4. Currently, man, less than a half second off the pace for him and Jared Jones. So top 5 within a half second of one another. Let's take a look. Where is... We have so many GT4s out on track. It is wild. Benjamin Nielsen, Matt Pyle. And then we got Ryan in the 64 and Newman in the 17. Is he running the Porsche again this season? Yes, he is. So many people. So many newcomers. We have... How many cars do we even have on track right now? This is wild. So while they're getting ready, they're getting set up for the race, we're going to switch over to that scenic view and talk more about what's coming up for the race today. Once again, WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca for 90 minutes. We've got a competition yellow that's going to fire at the 20-minute mark. We've got the Pro and AM Championship up for grabs in each individual class. And, of course, we've got those fuel adjustments that differ from last season with 60% on offer for LMP3 and 50% tanks for GT4. So they're going to have to figure out their fueling strategy for this 90-minute race. Kind of when are people going to take fuel and tires, if they take tires? Tires was kind of a bit of a story in the first 2 seasons of the Sports Car Series, with the LMP3s particularly suffering more than the GT4s when taking tires. Chris Turner coming in with his own prediction on surviving the race at 30%. I mean, it's a tough track for everybody in every category. So I'm actually not surprised to hear that you're concerned about your odds of survival. Does look like we're starting to get some cloud cover. That 56% humidity probably going to give us an opportunity to get some clouds, maybe cool the track down a little bit, cause a little bit of fluctuation on track surface. 2-1 on killing a GT4. Okay, all right. Well, I'm not going to thought crime you on that one, Chris, but I hope you don't. I hope you don't. Just waiting for the warm-ups to finish. We're going to jump back over to those racing results for qualifying. Again, Ethan Hamlet, top of the timesheets. I don't think anybody is stunned by this development. Robert Lewis, about a half second off the pace. That's pretty consistent. Ethan's been about a half second ahead of the field most of last season as well. So I expect to see kind of similar performance. But this is a race about survival. So you can be the fastest person on track, but you still got to navigate traffic. That could definitely result in some shenanigans. Mark Hansen in third, Jaden Ledbetter in fourth here. So the Track Limits Racing folks still up at the tip of the spear with 949's own Beltan, kind of like spoiling that party. Chris Turner in the 950, sitting about 0.8 off the pace from Ethan, followed by Dylan Sauer, Gabe Chavez, and Mark Robinson. We got Gian Cardoso in ninth, ahead of Zachary Fisher by, about 0.5. Zachary Fisher in the 18 from Australia, it looks like. Or is that New Zealand? I always forget which one has the stars and which one doesn't. Sean Gomez in 11th, and then Paul Miles in 12th with Davis Stanley. We've also got Ottman in the 13 and David Flagler in the 58, and that is your LMP3 crew. Let's go over in GT4 now. Scott Fleming on top, 28.060. Stephen Wallace. I mean, look at these times between the top five, right? We've got Stephen Wallace, Tanner Schiffner, William Lewis, and Jared Jones, all within about a half second of Fleming. Stephen Wallace is really going to want to strike hard and fast in Season 2 after the finish in Season 1 of the Sports Car Series. Canadian P1 and GT4. Hey, people got to get out here and catch Scott. He's quick. Yeah, Dylan is looking quick. Dylan is looking very quick. Let's jump down past P5 now because we have a bunch of GT4s out here. We've got Benjamin Nielsen, Matt Pyle, and Ryan in the 64, followed by Newman running the Porsche. And that's where we start to get people within a second. We've got newcomer, where is the full name? Eduardo Zamora, pro category in GT4 in 10th, about a little, yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing, Kurt. This is a really strong field, and I'm really, how many total in the race tonight? Let's see if we can get a head count on that. So we've got, I might have to switch over to the overall to get that number. Let's do that real quick. Overall standings, and then let's jump all the way down to the bottom. Sometimes when I use SDK, it looks like 37 on track for round number 1 at Laguna. That looks pretty spicy. That looks pretty spicy. Yeah, that's gonna be pretty crazy. Back to the GT4 results. So after Eduardo, let's go past 10th here. There we go. Okay, we got some more newcomers. We got Tristan McNairn in blue in the 530. Shane Sullivan in 13th. Dean Tyler the 33 and 14th. Tommy Kogan struggling around here. 1.8 seconds off the pace in 15th. We've got Potts in the 25 16th. Sommers in the 15 and 17th. Corey Lobner and Logan Branson rounding out the GT4 contenders. Actually, I bet we have more than that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We've got Adam Donjan and John Newman and Cody Gillespie. So. What's up, Tetra Smalls? How you doing? We have, a lot of people. A lot of people in for round one. So it's going to be pretty interesting. But, just waiting for the warm-up to finish. And then, we'll be ready to go racing. So what I might do real quick while they are getting ready to start the formation lap and such, I might switch over to the B-roll real quick before we get into the race again. So I'll see you guys on the other side. And, should be fun. Actually, how many minutes are in warm-up? I see it's finishing. I'll actually let it roll over and then we'll start it. How are you doing, Tetris? Kurt Rocks. Hello. B. Scotty. Oh, man. Rooting for a lot of people. All right. Good stuff. All right. Let's go back to... here. Yep. They're going to grid up. I'll see you guys on the other end of it. And we're back on the formation lap with the drivers as they are getting geared up for a rolling start here at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca for the season opener of Season 2 of the Sports Car Series with Track Limits Racing. I'm Whelp Cakes. Thanks to everybody for joining us for the opener. It's going to be spicy. Laguna is always spicy. The fact that it's the season opener, it's always kind of a tough one. But fingers crossed we're going to have a clean opening lap, and hopefully we're going to have some good multi-class racing as everybody is moving through the formation lap procedure right now. LMP3 is getting ready to go through the corkscrew. Want to give a quick shout out to everybody who followed while we were away. We've got a number of names here. We've got Joshua the Fox, Smal Boggs, Chip Johnson Music. So many cool people. Elithra 17, thank you all so much for following. And we're looking forward to some exciting racing action. Let's go ahead and get set up for the race.
It might end up bad, but also it might end up good if you're a spectator.
Kurt Rocks just followed. Thank you so much, Kurt. Ethan is holding the field as they get ready to go green, and he gets a launch. He gets one heck of a launch, actually. So does Jaden Ledbetter. Going into turn 2 right now. On the brakes, entry into Andretti hairpin. Jaden does have the inside line. He's going to try and hold Beltan on the outside. Beltan does have the inside line as they're getting ready to go up into turn 3. That's very exciting. Let's jump down now to the GT4s, as it looks like we might have had a bit of a shuffle at the start. Stephen Wallace does get away into turn 3, and he is doing well. What happened to Scott Fleming? Scott Fleming fell like a stone. Where is Fleming? Fleming is in the back now. Not sure what happened there. Let's see if we can go over into the instant replay and find out what happened here. They get started, getting ready to go into turn 2, under braking, and it just looks like the engine steps around on Fleming. So unfortunate for Scott, but it's a 90-minute race, and that performance or that competition yellow is going to be a factor that's going to help probably pull him back into the running here. He's already caught up with the back of the GT4 field. Let's go check back in with the LMP3 runners. Right now, it looks like Jaden Ledbetter is barely in front of Mark Hansen. Mark Hansen's starting to apply some pressure. Let's see if we can get some close-up shots here. With Mark Hansen from the Midwest, currently running 4th in the number 8. Going into turn 5 right now, pushes out wide as they head uphill now towards the kink. Underneath the VP Racing banner. That was a bit twitchy on corner entry. I don't know if he was getting a touch of rear lockup or what, but there was definitely a sudden jolt to the right. Probably a little bit of a Code Brown moment for Mark as he's trying to catch back up to Jaden and start to apply some pressure going through turn 10 right now. The banking on turn 10, you can abuse it a lot in these high downforce cars. And then into turn 11, man, he is late into turn 11, almost takes it completely off the tarmac. So Mark's going to have to clean it up a little bit before he can really issue a challenge from Jaden. Let's go back in the field. We got Christopher Ottman. And I believe he is duking it out with Paul Miles in the 81. Side by side into turn 2. Paul Miles is going to hang on, and they go into turn 3 right now, and Christopher just slots back in. He's going to try and apply some pressure through the technical section here as they get ready to go into sector 2. Do see a couple of crashes, but nothing significant. Like, I don't see a lot of crash stuff going on, which I think is it's a good thing. I mean, for having 37 cars for the start of round 1 here, that is a lot of activity for the start of a race here at Laguna Seca. Let's check in with some other drivers at the moment. Right now, it's really It's really GT4 that's kind of like where the spice is, which is kind of true also for last season. GT4 was kind of stole the show, if I'm honest, in Sports Car Series Season 1. Jared Jones, currently running in 4th behind Benjamin Nielsen. Basically, the top 5 all got upgraded after Scott Fleming had his moment in the Andretti hairpin. Jared Jones going to try and hold off the 6-4. Ryan's on the hard charge. Another AMG in the field. Going into turn 9 right now. Just slotted in the draft. See Ryan looming large in the background. Oh, that was a lot of entry curve for Ryan. And that is going to, unfortunately, I think it's going to bring Anthony Newman in the 17 up into 5th place. So Ryan losing a spot on the entry into turn 10, catches way too much entry curve, unsettles the car, and kind of has to back out of it to keep things calm and collected. So many close fights in GT4 right now, but one that is starting to heat up just a pinch here in the LMP3. Dylan Sauer is starting to harass Chris Turner in the 950 LMP3 as they get ready to go into turn 11. Chris trying to hang on. What is Chris going to post for a lap time? A 19.35. So 17.62. Fastest lap of the race already, Ethan Hamlin. Ethan Hamlin already ahead of Beltan by about 5 seconds on the interval right now. So it is already starting to get Ethan's already starting to get a little bit out of touch. I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight for Season 2, Round 1 here at Laguna Seca. Feel free to ask me any questions in chat. I'll try and see if I can get you some answers. But, yeah, I'm just excited to be here. I'm excited to be back. It was a long break. We got a number of rounds on offer for this season. Just some of the places we're going to go to this season. So we're starting off at Laguna Seca. Then we've got Navarra, new track here at iRacing. I will not be here for the broadcast for that one, unfortunately. But I'm really hoping that it's a good race for everybody. I'll look forward to watching some replay footage when I get back. Round 3, we're going to Suzuka. And then round 4, we're doing Alton Park, which should be very interesting for multi-class. Long Beach is round 5. That is the one that I'm looking forward to. Really looking forward to Long Beach. I think it's going to be awesome. Rudskogen's going to be round 6, and then we've got Sonoma for round 7, and VIR is going to close us out. LMP3s are already catching up to GT4 traffic. Let's go take a peek. Jump over to the most exciting, which right now is Mr. Eduardo Zamora in the 228. And there's Dylan Sauer in the McDonald's 43 LMP3. Catching up to some of the GT4 traffic at the corkscrew. That is a very tricky spot to navigate GT4 traffic. Tommy Kogan trying to navigate his way through some traffic. There goes Beltan navigating through some GT4s as he gets ready to go into turn 11. Man, we've just got a huge traffic jam here. Ethan Hamlin is kind of sandwiched with a bunch of GT4 cars that are racing for position. Like, this is legitimate stuff right here. He's got to be patient. And this traffic is going to kind of catch everybody. So actually, we're going to hang with Ethan for a moment while he's navigating this out. Oh, man, he is just wedged. He's got nowhere to go. And this is what's tough. This is what is tough about multi-class racing, especially at a track like Laguna. And he finally sweeps to the outside and finds his way through. Where's Beltan at? Beltan's catching up to this crowd right now as he goes past one of the Aston Martins on the exit of turn 5, back up the hill now to the kink. This is where it is particularly treacherous to be inside And I believe Jaden's going to try and force the issue now as they get ready to go into the corkscrew. Here's the problem. This is not really a turn where all these cars can just join in. And Jaden and Beltan come together. Beltan probably got a little bit of outside damage. I bet Jaden's got a little bit on his left side. But both cars stay on track. That was actually kind of miraculous, if I'm honest. And then through turn 10, Beltan takes the position back as he catches up to some of the GT4 cars at turn 11. Now it's going to be a drag race out of turn 11. The traffic is really catching people out right now. This is some nutty stuff. We're going to go to the blimp cam because seeing all of this action from a distance might help us understand kind of where the cars are relative to each other's physical position. Beltan, oh man, he is pushing. He is pushing to get through these corners. Jaden's right behind him. Let's go to some of the GT4 runners here that are navigating this LMP3 traffic right now, checking in with Stephen Wallace, the GT4 leader. Looks like he is just now hitting the corkscrew, and he's got an 8-second gap on Matt Pyle right now. Matt Pyle just now entering the corkscrew as he's leaving it. Jumping down to Sean Sullivan, our nearest GT4 contender right now. Although actually McNairn in P11 is actually starting to get close. And I just saw 1, 2, 3 cars marked in red. Hope that isn't indicative of a crash or something like that, but oh, that's relative. Oh, those are lapped cars. Whoa, one of the, it looks like Dylan Sauer goes a little bit deep on the brakes on the exit of turn 11 and manages to keep it on track. Ryan in 6th place trying to catch up to Mr. Anthony Newman. And this is pretty spicy. This is pretty spicy already. Dylan Sauer in the 43 still behind Chris Turner, and actually it looks like Mark Hansen not far off. Into turn 11. Wow, that is that was something. Definitely navigating through turn 11 the best that he can right now, Mark Hansen in 7th place in LMP3 right now, so lost a few spots. Currently down 4 from the start of the race. Looks like we might have just had a crash on track. Let's go check in. This is Tanner Schiffner. What happened here? Looks like he's on the exit of turn 10 now, going into turn 11 on the brakes for the hairpin. Oh, there's a car. Oh no. We had a spun McLaren, but I believe that contact was pretty light, so I don't think anybody is... There's a little bit of damage on the Porsche in front. And I believe that might have cost Tanner a spot, although it looks like he's turned around and started fighting back. And actually on the inside of the 41 as they go through turn 2. Not really that many wrecks so far. With a track, with a field this tight, I'm actually kind of surprised about that. William Sommers in the number 15 BMW. The Canadian going through the corkscrew right now. Trying to pull away from Adam Donjan. Into turn 11 right now. Drag race on the exit. But I believe he's got P14 in class sewed up quite nicely right now. The field is starting to stretch a little bit, but we're definitely within 6 minutes of that competition yellow period. Christopher Ottman currently in front of Davis Stanley. Davis is going to push past him in the corkscrew. Through turn 9, and he is on his way. Paul Miles, Mr. Milo the first on Twitch TV, the Canadian in 8th position in the 8-1. Currently in front of David Flagler. He's got a little bit of, excuse me. I was looking at the wrong relative. I was still looking at Christopher's. So Paul Miles right in front of Mark Robeson right now, trying to chase down Gabe Chavez, who is newcomer in the 88 to the LMP3 category. Through the intervals right now, trying to find the close battles in LMP3. I mean, this is pretty much it. I mean, it's like Mark Robeson and Milo, and then you got David Flagler and Christopher Ottman. Down in GT4, this is an interesting one. We got a battle for what looks like P9. We got Sean Sullivan, Scott Fleming, and is that Christopher Blue? Is Christopher Blue Christopher Blue in the number 530 BMW in front, currently running P8. And Sean Sullivan, Scott Fleming, not far in the rear view. Got some LMP3 traffic moving up the inside. And then they go into the Andretti hairpin and continue racing. Does look like Scott is trying to apply some pressure on Sean. Scott Fleming, the 37 AMG, the Canadian, trying to make some space on the outside as they get ready to go into turn 5. Sean's going to try and make it very difficult for him. Kind of parks it on the apex. Now uphill towards the kink. That was a lot. Oh, and there goes the back end. Scott loses the back end again. This is the second time. And, I mean, he's got raw pace. It's just kind of just either bad luck or consistency. It's kind of making it difficult for him on track in race setup. Mark Hansen does make his way around Dylan Sauer, but Dylan Sauer is right there, kind of not wanting to let Mark drive away. You can see they're both pushing pretty hard. And Gabe Chavez in the 88's not that far in the background. It's about a 3-second gap, but Or excuse me, that is... Is that Zach Fisher now? Or no. I see Gabe now. On the relative. So 30 seconds away from the opening of the competition yellow window. Once 20 minutes has elapsed, that'll be an indicator for the competition yellow to trigger, and then we'll kind of see how the wave rounds work out. Oh my goodness. Right before the competition yellow, there's a gaggle of GT4 cars that the LMP3s are moving through right now. So it is very challenging times. And we have elapsed 20 minutes just waiting to see when that competition yellow is going to fire. There's your race leader, Ethan Hamlet, moving through the LMP3 traffic. Or excuse me, the GT4 traffic. Stephen Wallace currently entering the corkscrew in the lead of the GT4 traffic, or GT4 field. He's running a pretty conservative race right now. Last lap was 28.4. Best is a 27.8, so he's about, I want to say about, what is that? 0.6 off his pace. Ethan Hamlin has pumped in a 17.5 in race trim around Laguna. That's bonkers. That is actual banana bread levels of crazy. Scott Fleming, William Lewis, they're trying to fight their way back up through the GT4 field. Still waiting for that competition yellow to fire. Looks like we might have had some GT4s and LMP3s tangle. Let's take a peek and see what happened here. Oh, Jaden in. Oh, no. I mean, the McLaren had to park it, so I think... not sure what else that could have been done there. "22 minutes in. Still waiting for the yellow to fire. Looks like we do have another wreck. We've got Adam in the 7.6. Oh, I see. There was a little bit of contact. Just the lightest amount of contact between Adam and Tanner with that bunch up in turn 11. Nothing serious. Christopher Ottman and Davis Stanley currently behind some GT4 runners. Oh, looks like we've got some folks maybe pitting early. Man, the full LMP3 field pitting in. Looks like that fuel allocation already coming into effect here. We've already got people pitting here. Let's switch over to that blimp cam and pop open that track map. Get that opened up over here. So we got some LMP3s. Looks like Ethan's already on the exit of pit road. Is Chris Turner coming out P2 relative to Ethan Hamilton? Yes, he is. Chris Turner with a banger of a stop. Robert Lewis in the 949 has been sitting in pit lane now for a minute. Kind of curious what's happening there. Is he taking fuel and tires? Or is he getting repairs? Not quite sure. But he's still in the pit box. Gabe Chavez making some moves on pit road. He comes out in third ahead of Jaden Ledbetter, who's just now going into the kink. Mark Hansen, Dylan Sauer, Paul Miles. Yeah, we got some movers and shakers here in the LMP3 category. Wonder if Beltan actually had damage, now I think about it, from that collision with Jaden that needed repairing. And it does look like the field has started to slow. I'm going to jump forward to Ethan Hamlet, but I believe the competition yellow has started, maybe. Oh, yeah, I see it. He's got one GT4 ahead of him, and then the safety car. That makes sense. That makes sense. From the chopper cam, GT4s are starting to get the wave around. GT4 runners just now coming out of the their pits. We got Jared Jones, Stephen Wallace, Benjamin Nelson, Matt Pyle. Jared Jones going to get the leapfrog and jump out in front, it looks like, in the GT4 field. Robert Lewis slots in behind Christopher Ottman in the back in P14. Yeah, there's Jared. Okay. So lots of GT4 runners hitting the pits during the competition yellow phase. So Ethan Hamlin in front. I'm kind of curious if we actually have some GT4s kind of like mixed in right now. I'm looking to see if I can spot any. Looks like the LMP3s are pretty solidly stacked relative to the race leader. Oh, no, here we go. We got one GT4 in front of David Flagler. Not sure what's happening here. Little bit of craziness happening. We're just waiting for the competition yellow phase to come to a conclusion, and then we will be back underway with some racing. Looks like Dean Tyler, the last of the GT4 runner pit stops, now starting his outlap. Jared Jones having a bit of a moment. I think some of the lap GT4 cars are being waved around. Not really sure what's happening here, but the field is very tight. Very compressed. Okay, that's what they're doing. They're clearing the remaining GT4s around the LMP3s, and then we'll be good to go racing. I believe I saw Scott Fleming in that bunch. Oh man, they are really compressed. Oh my god. Oh my goodness. Stay frosty, guys. Stay frosty. Yeah, so William Lewis has been given the wave around. I think when William Lewis gets clear of the LMP3 field, we might see the flag clear and go green. Where's Eduardo at? Eduardo just had a crash. What happened here? Oh, I see a little Constantina there. Caught some folks out. That's unfortunate. That's going to smash the front end of the BMW a little bit, but I think we're going to be okay. I don't think that's going to be race impacting damage. Looking right here, we got Matt Pyle in the lead. Let's jump live. So William Lewis still clearing some LMP3s. Being very gingerly as he navigates through the field. Little bit of traffic management happening here as we're getting everybody clear to the LMP3s so we can go back to racing. Matt Pyle stopping late. Let's see what happens here. I believe that was, is that his legit pit stop? That might be. That is interesting. No, that is a second. That is a second pit for Matt. Maybe a little splash and dash, maybe a little bit of math gone wrong on the fuel. Also, Eduardo Zamora, same deal. He's pitting now. Or is this strategic? Pit now, get into some clear air when the flag goes green and avoid some of the early race nonsense that can start when the field starts to Constantina up after a restart. William Lewis right now moving through the moving up to the corkscrew right now, and he is behind somebody. One of the LMP3s, I believe that is Sean Gomez. It could be. It could be. It could be using those quick repairs. You're right. You're right, Tetris. You're absolutely right on that one. LMP3 is coming up to the corkscrew right now, and I believe of the cars that are on the wave around, I believe the 2.6 LMP3 is the last one. So I'm not sure, but we might be going green when the safety car comes up to the pit lane this time around. Ethan Hamlet in the lead of this race, to no one's surprise in LMP3. But Chris Turner making a huge shakeup, jumping into second with Gabe Chavez in the 88. Oh, yeah, they're lining up. They're stacking. This is it. Oh, no, we are going to take another one. We are going to take another one. Maybe they're letting the GT4 runners catch back up. Really close. I mean, before the pit stop, not really. But I'm interested to see how the field's going to shake out with the competition yellow being over. I'm guessing the safety car is coming in this lap. Because the 4 and the 2.6 are going to be catching the field pretty quickly here in a minute. They're just now going through. They're just now going into turn 10 right now. Let's look through some of the newcomers that we've got joining us for season 2. Tristan McNairn, who's a newcomer, I think, to the sports car series. I believe we saw him one time in the LMP3 only series, but I could be wrong. Brandon Potts returning in the AMG, the 2.5. We've got Matt Pyle, another newcomer. Corey Lobner in the 41 Porsche Cayman. Welcome to the sports car series. Yeah, with that, the field is basically caught up now. We basically got the train. So I'm kind of curious if this is it, and it does look like it is, because I do see cars starting to kind of jump into Noah's Ark formation. Look at that field. And Jared Jones right now in the lead of GT4 after the pit stops. Another shocking turn of events. GT4s are going to give the LMP3s a little bit of space as they get ready to go green. Chris Turner on the outside. Let's actually jump on this from Jaden Ledbetter's perspective, because Ledbetter's going to try and get the jump on Chavez, and it looks like he does. Going into turn 2, this is where things can get spicy. LMP3s look like they're doing okay. Mark Hansen, though, falling down the order. Not sure what happened here. Looks like there might have been an accident of some type. Not really sure what happened. Oh, cars are snaking all over the place. Beltan gets off to a banger of a start and gets around Christopher Ottman. I don't see a lot of crash indicators on the track. Let's see if we can find out what happened here. Cars are coming back on track. Man, that was close. Oh, and then somebody gets into the back of one of the LMP3s. I couldn't see who that was. Definitely some contact. LMP3s getting spicy here at the start. Stephen Wallace does jump back out in front of Jared Jones. Oh, Matt Pyle in a crash. Let's see what happened here with Matt Pyle going uphill into the kink. Oh, interesting. Did he catch that car? I'm kind of confused. What happened there? So he's going in. No, he just loses the rear end. Just loses the rear end. That was something, man. So he's jumping back to the pits. He might be done. I hope not. But, man, what a wild race so far. The restart has been something. Mark Hansen's in the pits. I'd really like to figure out what happened to Mark, because he fell like a stone, like immediately. Mark left the pit lane. Mark Robeson went off track. Let's see if we can see what happened here. Oh, man, his car is dead. Wow, what happened? Let's see if we can go back a little bit further and figure out what happened. Back on track. No, we can't. It doesn't seem like we can figure out what happened here. Okay, going into turn 2. This is Mark Robeson. Oh, the back end of, I believe that was Hansen, stepped out, and there was enough contact with, I believe that was Dylan Sauer, and the back end of Hansen's car is just gone. Not sure what happened there. I just think the rear end just got loose. Dylan Sauer has made his way ahead of both Chris Turner and Gabe Chavez. Robert Lewis already back up into 5th after the restart, after basically coming out in stone last. Zachary Fisher in the 18, trying to move his way back up through the LMP3 field, currently in 14th, but currently in GT4 traffic. Let me let my dog out of the room. Give me a sec. Sorry about that. So a lot of action on the race restart. Benjamin Nelson, newcomer in the 79, running that GoPro livery on the Cayman, currently slotted in behind Stephen Wallace. So Benjamin Nelson on a bit of a tear here after the restart. Currently up 5 spots on the afternoon. As we get close to the halfway point here, we got 41 minutes, 53 seconds off the clock so far, and yeah. Now we are slotting ourselves in for the second half of this race. Mark Hansen's trying to move through the GT4 traffic after getting the rear end put back on that LMP3. This is wild stuff, man. This is very wild. Ooh, Stephen Wallace getting pressured on the exit of turn 4. Benjamin Nelson going to take the lead of this race into turn 5, although Stephen Wallace does have the inside line. He's running that Buc-ee's M4. Now inside line into the kink. Who's going to be brave? Both of them pushing through the corner with a lot of speed. Looks like Matt Pyle is kind of sandwiched in. Probably a lap down to these guys. Jared Jones in the background. Jared's going to try to find a way to navigate around this. Chris Turner in the 950, currently being chased down by Beltan in the 949. That's right on board with Beltan. Through the corkscrew. Twitch oversteer on corner exit. Kind of a common occurrence with the corkscrew corner, especially with a car with a floor like the LMP3. Tends to wobble over some of the more aggressively cambered portions of the corkscrew. Ethan Hamlin is just gone, man. Already almost 9 seconds. Although Jaden is starting to pick up the pace a little bit. Last lap from Jaden, 18.63 to Ethan Hamlet's 18.8. Probably traffic being a bit of a factor there. Both Dylan Sauer and Chris Turner pumping in their fastest laps last lap with an 18.47 and an 18.37 respectively. But Beltan last lap was at 18.6. Ooh, navigating through some GT4 traffic as they get ready to go into the kink. Oh, that GT4 is going to have to rejoin
It might
somehow.
end up bad, but also
Mr.
might end
Joseph
up good
Savage. Thank you so much for the follow, sir. I'm really looking forward to watching you race in your seizure-inducing Aston Martin tomorrow. For folks that don't know, New World Sim Racing GT3 Sprint Series will be back tomorrow at 7 p.m. on New World Sim Racing's Twitch channel. And Joby has a very interesting livery that should not be viewed by anyone with photosensitivity. Oh, here we go. Is he going to make the play?
It might end up bad, but also
Number
might
Wang
end up good if you're a
wins the prize for best name on a follow so far. Thank you for the follow, Number Wang. Seizure warning now. Yeah, I am the public service announcement for the New World Sim Racing. It's just another one of the many services that I offer. So Tanner Schiffner, oh no, it's Scott Fleming right now, who is on the gearbox of Ryan in the 6.4 AMG. Ooh, is he going to try it? He holds the inside line. He's going to try and force the issue. Might have caught Ryan off guard a little bit because Ryan did not get the better exit, even though he has like the more standard line. But now Scott's on the inside getting ready to go into Andretti. And with that, he is just going to get that move done and dusted. Moves up into 5th overall. So good recovery for Scott Fleming. Still down 4 spots, but went down to stone last. Which was a very interesting opener after a very aggressive pole position. Jaden Ledbetter moving through GT4 traffic, but you see who's looming in the background there. That is Mr. Dylan Sauer. At LMP3 in the background is Dylan Sauer in the McDonald's LMP3. Jaden is putting his foot down, trying to pull away. But it's going to be tricky. It's going to be tricky. Let's see if we can get some lap times here. Let's get some lap time history. So Jaden did lose out a little bit on lap 28. Getting ready to come across lap 31. And oh, wait a minute. That's relative to Ethan. Let's see what it is relative to Sauer. Yeah, that's where he's losing out. Last 2 laps lost about 0.8 combined. So that's going to be big. Jaden's going to have to get it in gear if he wants to hang on to this spot. Stephen Wallace, Benjamin Nelson still going. I think I kept saying Nielsen. Apologies there, Benjamin. But yeah, they are locked in for this battle for GT4. Man, look at this sandwich right here. LMP3 is moving through GT4 field as we've got a battle for P11, Adam Donjan, and then we got the number 4 of William Lewis, who qualified really well. He's down 8 spots and has had good pace in the car. He's also locked into battle with Anthony Newman, another Cayman, Anthony going to take the inside line as they go into turn 10. Do they touch? I believe there was a bit of a touch. And the back end for Newman goes around, and he's off track. Benjamin Nelson. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Back with Benjamin Nelson as the LMP3s are moving around. Robert Lewis is clearing the GT4 runners. And then Mark Robeson's going to do the same as they get ready to approach the kink. I believe that is Tanner Schiffner on the outside. And then Ryan in the 6.4. Yep, they're really trying to figure out how to navigate this. And we got a lockup. I believe that is Paul Miles through the sand trap in the 81. Does manage to avoid running into anybody. But Davis Stanley now blasting uphill. Man, he is carving through the GT4 field. He is flashing the lights. He means business. He is ready to clear some cars. And that is, I believe, Mark Hansen in the background. Although he does go off track. And Hansen's going to get the inside line and get around him. But I believe Hansen might still be a lap down relative to Stanley. Mark Robeson now catching up to Tommy Cogan. There's Ryan, currently sitting P6. Good race for Ryan, up 2 spots. He's getting ready to go into the kink right now, and I believe that is Tanner Schiffner trying to chase him down in the M4. And actually, Eduardo Zamora not far off. Currently running P8. Eduardo is up 2 spots on the afternoon. (52 minutes, 30 seconds off the clock in this 90-minute race. Eduardo on corner exit. I mean, he's hanging with Tanner. I don't think he's ready to make the move just yet, but he's definitely showing Tanner that he's right there. Mr. Milo the first is catching Mark Robeson. You see I shaves just a little bit of speed. Oh, the GT4 on the outside. Mark had to react, and that gives Milo a bit of an opportunity. Under braking, man. He's getting a sniff of the splitter. I think you're getting a little bit of wheel spin on the exit of turn 11 for Milo. And blasting up the start-finish straightaway right now. John Newman in the 35, currently 14th, ahead of Corey Lobner. And Adam Donjan, 12th place. Currently in front of the LMP3 runner. Ethan Hamlin in the lead of the LMP3 field, moving through GT4 traffic right now. Traffic management has been the story here at Laguna Seca for round 1 of season 2. Again, thanks everybody for joining us for the season opener. Really appreciate having everyone here. 27 viewers so far. Thank you all so much for being a part of the show. Be sure and check us out on SimGrid, simgrid.com. You can search Track Limits Racing if you want to join the Sports Car Series Season 2. Round number 2 will be in a couple weeks at Navarra. First time the Sports Car Series has been there. It's going to be interesting to see how that track races when it comes to multi-class. And we got some spicy GT4 action happening here. Let's pick somebody fun and exciting and sit on an onboard for a little bit. Get us a preview of WeatherTech Raceway, shall we? Who's got a close battle brewing here? Chris Turner does. On board with Chris Turner in the LMP3. Let's ride on board with him for a bit. Exiting turn 5. Oh, man, he is sticking his nose in there. Now it's a drag race down to the kink. Does he have the inside? He does. Just out to the very edge of the track. Gabe Chavez now going to need to be on the attack. No, sir. Push the mic away for a minute. I was just looking through the data. I'm still here. We got some spicy stuff. I'm looking through the GT3, GT4 field, or excuse me, the LMP3 GT4 field, seeing how the classes are kind of like mixing in on the track map and just clicking around on numbers that are sticking out to me. Because it does look like we're hitting one of those inflection points where we're seeing a lot of LMP3 traffic, or a lot of GT4 traffic, seeing LMP3s move through them. Let's take a jump back and take a look. Davis Stanley getting ready to go into turn 2, the Andretti hairpin. Kind of the story we've seen with the LMP3s. Rear end just kind of stepped out on him. And then he went off track, but joined safely, so no issues there. Does look like Dave Flagler had a bit of a moment in the corkscrew and then jumps back to the pits. That's unfortunate. Hopefully that's not race ending for Dave. So Adam goes a little bit deep into turn 11 and it switches the camera right back over to the battle with Gian Cardoso. With Gian Cardoso moving through GT4 traffic. Gian's trying right now to catch back up to Gabe Chavez. Does look like Dave's going to come back out on track. We do have another pit stop from, well, Dave. That was when Davis went to the pits. I said Davis. I got that wrong. Sorry about that, Davis. But in the 7-2, went to the pit stops after jumping to the pits from the corkscrew. Might have had a bit of a moment. Scott Fleming really trying to recover some spots after the opener. Pole position in GT4. And currently he's running about P3, which is a good recovery. After being stone last after the pretty much the very first turn. Keeps moving back and forth between the LMP3s and some of the GT4 battles as the LMP3s are moving through the track, or moving through the GT4 traffic. Mark Robeson currently getting around Sean Sullivan in the 68 Cayman. Now he's going to try and clear Christopher Blue. Meanwhile, this battle, we've got P5, we've got Ryan in the 6.4, trying to chase down Tanner Schiffner. Yeah, the AutoCam is having a bit of a time right now because there's just so much activity right now with the LMP3s moving through traffic. Might shut that off and take a peek at one of the closer battles like this one with Ryan chasing down Tanner Schiffner. Traffic management on these small tracks is a big deal. I'm still shocked that they race this in IMSA, for example, with like the GTPs and stuff, because just the pace difference between like the GT3s and the GTPs is so significant that to me it's just kind of like surprising to see. And we kind of got a little bit, like a smaller version of that on display for you tonight with the LMP3s and the GT4s. I'm kind of curious to see, so Scott Fleming, Tommy Kogan, both going into the pits. I wonder if that 50% fuel tank catching out some of these GT4 runners, or maybe they're planning for that final 25 minutes of this race by getting that pit stop in early. I'm going to try to undercut the field in front. The Scott Fleming's still in it. Tommy Cogan's not out of it. Brandon Potts in the 25, also in the pits. Kind of waiting to see when the LMP3s are going to pull the trigger on it. Ethan Hamlet currently out in front by a margin, 20.3 seconds to Jaden Ledbetter. And Jaden's got 6 seconds on Dylan Sauer. And Robert Lewis actually starting to catch back up to Dylan Sauer right now. So in the 949 LMP3. A little bit of Beltan's driver's inputs as he goes through the kink. We've got some GT4 runners as they get up to the corkscrew. Oh, and that is Scott Fleming, and Beltan had to take a pretty aggressive exit there to get around through turn 10. And it looks like Dylan's going to dive in now. So Dylan going for the undercut. Going to try and see if he can cover off Beltan for the last portion of this race. I think Dylan's the first one of the LMP3s inside the top 5 to go take the pit now. That's going to be interesting. Jared Jones, the Mid-South native, in the 34 AMG. Looks like he is trying to catch Brandon Potts. And he's on the inside as they get ready to go into Andretti. Brandon doesn't look like he's going to put up too much of a fight. There is some LMP3 traffic to navigate here. And Jared's going to move up into 11th spot. He's already taken his second pit stop. Tommy Cogan right now. Let's see where Tommy might have made the move, because it looks like, so he's running in second now. And if I'm looking correct, so Stephen Wallace is going to be 15 seconds up the road. Eduardo Zamora, same sort of deal. Zamora currently running in third in the 228. Some movers and shakers in GT4, that's for sure. So is Ryan. Ryan's running fourth now in GT4. So big movers in the GT4 category. Christopher Ottman taking his pit stop right now from 12th. So Dylan and Robert Lewis both have taken the pit stop. So Dylan takes the pit. Looks like Robert immediately covers him off. Stays out in front. Currently holding about 9 seconds on Dylan. So big recovery for Beltan. In fact, 17.72 seconds in the pit stall versus a 24.15 for Dylan Sauer. That tells me that Beltan probably did not take tires in his second stint. He did not take tires for his third stint, I should say. So That's a pretty quick pit stop. Ethan Hamlet diving into the pits now. What's Ethan going to do? Is Ethan about to take tires? We're about to find out. His last pit stop was a 16.48, so I doubt he took tires. So tires are probably going to have to be in the works right now, which means Jaden Ledbetter, whose last pit stop was a 27.98, might be able to get the jump. We shall see. There's Robert Lewis right now going into the kink. Ethan Hamlet, 16.6. I don't think Ethan's taking tires in either stint. And he's heading back out right now. Chris Turner. Looks like he's going for the overcut. Jaden's on the outlap. Mark Robeson's on the outlap. Where's Beltan going to cycle out relative to Jaden? Robert's got Gabe Chavez. Where's Jaden? Looks like Jaden's back out on track, and Robert Lewis is about 7 seconds back. I don't know if that's actually that accurate. Let's see if we can get a little bit more data. Because Jaden, yeah, he's already through turn 4. He's on his way to turn 5. So, yeah, Jaden's going to stay out in front. Chris Turner yet to pit. Interesting moves here in the LMP3 category. Meanwhile, Stephen Wallace in the Buckies, M4, still out in front. Tommy Kogan and Eduardo Zamora have pulled a fast one on the field with that pit stop. Tommy Kogan in second place. Tommy Kogan, Steve Wallace. Name a more intense battle from season 1 for that P2 finish in GT4. Tommy Kogan just inching out Stephen Wallace in the final round. Stephen Wallace had a tragic Watkins Glen, but right now, currently in the lead of this field by 16.8 seconds. Stephen Wallace is setting himself up for quite a start to his season 2. It's going to be very interesting. We got an hour and 12 minutes has elapsed, and we are in the final stages of round 1 here. Chris Turner goes into the pits. It already looks like Gabe Chavez might have cleared him. Yeah, Gabe Chavez clears him, and Chris Turner rejoins the field in 6th. 14.73 second pit stop, which is pretty quick. 56.48 seconds pit lane travel time for Chris Turner. One of the fastest. And, yeah, he's in 6th now, so he's got to make up some ground on Gabe. Looks like Gabe gets out of Chris Turner's way and lets him go. Ethan Hamlin has set a 17.33 in race trim around here. It's kind of nuts. Let's talk about off tracks. People have been having a lot of off tracks. Even the race leader, Ethan Hamlin, sitting on 13. In GT4, though, Stephen Wallace sitting on 8. So Stephen keeping it very clean. I think our lowest is Ryan in the 6.4, running on 3 off tracks total in the AMG. That is very impressive for Ryan. GT4 field has stretched out quite a bit now. I think our closest interval, if I were to look, is probably going to be John Newman? No, Corey Lobner right now is 7/10 back from Adam Donjan in the 76 Aston Martin. So that is our closest battle on track right now in the GT4 field. We got a couple that are like a little under a second and a half apart, but that's your closest battle in GT4. Corey Lobner in the 41, a newcomer here in the sports car series. I think total we've had 3 retirements: David Flagler, Benjamin Nelson, and Dean Tyler. Benjamin Nelson dropping out is kind of a shock because he had a heck of a start to his after the competition yellow. Kind of curious what happened there. Let's check in with the other close fights going on right now. Gabe Chavez is keeping Chris Turner in touch. He's not letting the 950 get too far out in front. We got Christopher Ottman joining the track in the midst of this fight. And then we've also got some GT4 traffic for them to clear. That is Adam in the Aston Martin. They're going to have to clear on the outside of turn 4. And here they are on the approach to turn 5. As Gabe Chavez still trying to catch Chris Turner. So let's talk about the Pro and AM championship. Ethan Hamlin clearly in the lead of the pros in LMP3. The AM category, Dylan Sauer right now in the lead of amateur, or excuse me, the AM category in 4th place right now in front of Chris Turner to the tune of about 3.1 seconds. And then we got Chris Turner, Gabe Chavez, and that is your AM field. 3rd place in Pro is P7. Or no. 3rd place in Pro is Robert Lewis. 4th place in Pro is Gian Cardoso in 7th. So that is the tail of the tape in the Pro AM Championship in LMP3. Let's jump down into the GT4 category. Of course, we got Stephen Wallace and Tommy Kogan, Eduardo Zamora in the top 3 in Pro category, with Sean Sullivan, William Lewis, and William Sommers 1, 2, and 3 for the AM category in GT4. As we get close, we are close to the last 10 minutes in this race. We've got almost an hour, 19 minutes have elapsed. And this is the push to the end. Tanner Schiffner is catching Sean Sullivan, the Plains native, in the 5.1 M4. He's going to start trying to pressure Sean Sullivan into a mistake. Sean Sullivan's been pretty cool in the 17, currently sitting on 12 off tracks, though. So while I've seen him pretty calm when dealing with LMP3 traffic, he does have a significant number of off tracks to his name, but definitely not the worst offender by any means necessary. Yeah, the field has just really started to stretch out in GT4. Well, even in LMP3 now. Closest fight in LMP3 is Chris Turner is catching Dylan Sauer now, I believe. Or no, it's the other way around. It's Gabe Chavez is catching Chris Turner. So maybe we'll see some sparks between them by the end of this race. We'll find out. Did see Ethan Hamlet's lead drop down by a significant amount, and here's why. Going up into the corkscrew. On the brakes. Up, and then a rotation, and he goes over the bump, but manages to get the car corrected. So did not lose a lot of time, and then turns around and pumps out a 16.62. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Almost wrecks his car in the lead of this race, and then turns around and pumps out a 16.62 in race trim. That is nuts. That is genuinely nuts. Brandon Potts, the Ohio native, behind Scott Fleming, and we've also got, I believe that is, it's not Matt Pyle, is it? Oh, I see. That's Stephen Wallace in front of him. We got some late pitters, Logan Branson and Matt Pyle going into the pits. Inside the last 8 minutes. Last lap for Ethan Hamilton was an 18.01. So he had a pretty lackluster lap by his standards. Still really good pace, though. Jaden Ledbetter only had a 17.93. So that's Christopher Blue. It's catching. Now down to about 7/10 on William Sommers. Christopher Blue trying to get in on this this AM podium. I mean, we got 58 laps in the books so far here in round one at WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. Let's look. So Gabe had a bit of a moment, and that interval is now grown between him and Chris Turner. But Paul Miles actually within 3 seconds. Or no, I see it now. He's actually like 12 seconds back from, or no, 21 seconds back from Gabe. So the LMP3 field has really spread out now. With Christopher Blue. Actually, Christopher Blue's no longer really going after it. Might be Ryan, actually, that is... or no, Sean Sullivan. Sean Sullivan. So Ryan finds his way around Sean Sullivan. Sean Sullivan still sitting top of the amateur class in GT4 category as we get ready to cross the 5-minute warning here. 5 minutes left in this race. Looks like we are seeing some crashes. I do see Christopher Blue. I do see Zachary Fisher. Let's see what happened to Christopher. Oh, just gets caught right on the nose by the LMP3 taking the corner. That is unfortunate. That's just all about that navigation, man. Sean Sullivan keeping it moving forward on the exit of turn 5 as he has a bit of a moment. Not going to gain any ground to Ryan relative to P4, but definitely probably happy he kept it on the black stuff. That was something. And with that, the field has really, really stretched out now. Jared Jones, after the pit stop, down in 9th position. That has caught Jared out kind of in a big way. He's still 2 seconds back from William Sommers. And, you know, trying to gain as many points as he can. But currently sitting in 5th in the pro category in GT4. Checking in with Beltan in the 949 Sim Racing LMP3 as he's navigating through some GT4 traffic. Gets around Jared Jones. Now he's got to find his way around William Sommers, and that seems to go with no issue. Sean Gomez is going to get the 26 LMP3 to the finish here. He's going to finish out his first race with us in the Sports Car Series. Happy to have you with us, Sean. Here's your race leader going into turn 11 for the last time. Comes across the line. It's going to be white flag for the LMP3 field. Ethan had a bit of a moment in the corkscrew, but with the exception of that, really hasn't put a foot wrong. Does have, you know, a number of off tracks to his name. I mean, 18 for the race, but still, I mean, that is kind of common, especially navigating through the GT4 traffic here at Laguna. But Ethan kind of getting back down to business here in the Sports Car Series and picking up where he left off at the end of Season 1. behind Christopher Ottman going through the corkscrew. Oh, Christopher loses the back end. That's okay. Doesn't collect Ethan on corner exit. Hopefully Christopher can get that back on track. Finish this race out. Oh, Stephen Wallace has crashed. What has happened here? What has happened here? We're gonna cut back to Ethan here in a brief moment. Comes into turn 11. Oh, and the back end just steps out. But he does get it going. And Ethan Hamlet's going to cross the line. Ethan Hamlet's going to take the win here at Laguna. Jaden Ledbetter exiting turn 11 right now. He's going to come across the line in second place to take second in LMP3. Beltan just now exiting turn 10 on the approach to the hairpin. And looks like he's going to finish this one out in third in the pro category with Dylan Sauer, Chris Turner, and Gabe Chavez look like they are slotted to finish AM 1, 2, and 3. Stephen Wallace right now exiting the corkscrew on his final lap. And it already looks like Ryan in the 64 AMG, Sean Sullivan in the 68 Porsche. Looks like they're already crossed the line. Stephen Wallace getting a much-needed win after the ending of Season 1. And he's going to come across the line and take the first round here in the Sports Car Series in the M4. Tommy Cogan's already crossed the line in second. Eduardo Zamora in third, with Ryan in the 64 AMG in fourth and Tanner Schiffner in fifth. And we got a few other people still finishing their races out. But it looks like everything is in the books here. Yeah, we're already in the books. They're doing their cool down laps, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is round number 1. WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca. We're getting back to business here with the Sports Car Series. We will be back in a couple weeks' time with Navarra. I will not be here for the broadcast for that one. I will be out of the state for work. You think that might be Ethan's smallest margin of victory? Maybe. That could be. Actually, I think his smallest margin of victory was actually the season before we went multi-class. Like, he won Long Beach, but I don't remember winning by a lot, with the no stopper. Anyway, this has been a wonderful start to the series. Let's get those. Oh, that was Simsa Box 3. Yeah, I remember that now. Yeah, it's been a minute. I think that was the first race I ever saw Ethan, as a matter of fact. Let's go to the results. Let's see if we got those ready to go. Take a look at the final tally. Oh, let's get the race data off and then add the results in. There we go. Ethan Hamlet, no shocker, 13 seconds ahead of Jaden Ledbetter to take the first round. Jaden Ledbetter with Track Limits Racing in second place. Robert Lewis in the 949 Sim Racing LMP3 making a return to the Sports Car Series, finishing out the pro category in third. We got your amateur category in LMP3, Dylan Sauer in fourth overall, followed by Chris Turner and Gabe Chavez. We've got Paul Miles ahead of pro category Gian Cardoso in eighth, Mark Robeson in ninth, and Zachary Fisher in 10th. Let's scroll down a little bit more and see how the rest of the field finished out. And then it looks like we've got Davis Stanley in 11th, Mark Hansen in 12th, Sean Gomez 13th, Christopher Ottman 14th, and David Flagler in 15th place. Over in the GT4s, Stephen Wallace starting it off with a banger. Finishing ahead of rival Tommy Cogan, so they're gonna keep this battle going from season 1 on into season 2. Newcomer Eduardo Zamora in the or Zamora, not Zamora, Zamora in the 228 in third place, followed by Ryan in the 64 AMG ahead of Tanner Schiffner in the 51 in fifth. So pro podium is going to be Steven, Tommy, and Eduardo. And then we got our AM podium starting with William Lewis, William Sommers, and Sean Sullivan, with William Lewis being in 6th overall, followed by pro category Jared Jones in 7th, William Sommers in 8th, Sean Sullivan in 9th, Christopher Blue in 10th. Now let's jump a few spots down. Brandon Potts in 11th, Adam Donjin in 12th, followed by Corey Lobner in 13th. Scott Fleming, after putting it on pole, tried to recover as much as he could, but could only manage 14th in the overall. We've got John Newman in 15th, followed by Matt Pyle, Anthony Newman, and Cody Gillespie in 18th, Logan Branson 19th. And I believe everyone after Logan did not finish. We have Andrew McNairn, Benjamin Nelson, and Dylan Tyler in 22nd. So that, ladies and gentlemen, will wrap up the show here. This has been an absolute blast to get back to racing here with Track Limits Racing. Again, check us out on SimGrid, simgrid.com. You can search for Track Limits Racing. If you want to be a part of the Sports Car Series Season 2, you got a couple weeks before Navarro, and after that, there's going to be some more action. So be sure and check us out. I'm Whelp Cakes. This has been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for being here. Thanks for all the follows. And, we'll see you guys in the next one. I guess I'm going to roll the credits now. Take it easy.
it might end up bad, but also it might end up good if you're a